The Big Sister Experience is here to share honest conversations and insights around life, mental health, and well-being. While we aim to inform and inspire, the content of this podcast is for general information purposes only. If any topics raises questions or concerns for you, we encourage you to seek professional support or advice before acting on any topics discussed. To begin today's episode, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are recording from, the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We acknowledge that learning through conversation and stories is an Indigenous practice that has been done on this land for centuries before us. We want to pay our respect to any Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander people listening and elders past and present. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
3, 2, 1.
Hey! My name is Caitlin. My pronouns are she, her.
My name's Tiara. My pronouns are also she, her.
And we are from the Big Sister Experience. If you are new here, we run all-day mental health and wellbeing workshops. We work with female identifying and gender diverse students from grade 4 all the way up to year 12, kind of just discussing what we wish we knew when we were younger, maybe so people don't make the same mistakes we did. Hopefully we just make people feel a little less alone.
100%. And we're back for season 2.
I am so excited! Sisterhood Space,
Yes.
season 2. Let's go!
Got some mics. We're going again. Really exciting. We had so much fun doing season 1 and you got to see some of the big sisters and we're back hopefully bigger and better than ever.
We've been doing some brainstorming. We have been typing away.
Yeah, you're in for a treat this season. So we're really, really excited. If you were new here, we just want to acknowledge that we know it sounds a bit gendered. It's the sisterhood space. We work for the Big Sister Experience. However, that's just more about us being those big sister figures, maybe giving some of you those tips, tools, strategies, but we really want you to enter the space however you feel comfortable. So that being said, we're the big sisters, you're in the space. Welcome to the sisterhood space. So if you don't know, we get questions from our students which we've collected.
We have tubs of them. It's so funny. We need to use them for something.
Today we're going to be talking friendships. We're getting straight in with season 2, starting with friendships because it's something that we deal with constantly.
And it's really nuanced. I think when we talk about friendships, immediately people's brains go to friendship breakups or how do I make friends? And I'm but there's so much to friendships. And I love the questions we're getting into today because I feel like they're that level of question that people are not afraid to ask, but to articulate it and to be to bring it to the surface. I'm yes, people think this and people feel this and it's so interesting.
No, 100%. I think exactly what you were saying of bringing it to the surface because I think some of these feelings are so valid. It's just we don't like you said, we don't bring it to the surface. We don't talk about it. So that's what we're here to do today. And we're going to get straight into the first question.
I remember reading this and I was just oh.
Yeah, I think this is so real. And I'm really glad we're talking about it. So you're probably just get to the question.
Say it.
So the first question we have is, I love my best friend so much, so why am I jealous of her?
Jealousy, jealousy.
Honestly, that's real. That is real. That is such a vulnerable question to ask. I think normally when we're thinking about relation or friendship, red flags, green flags, things like that, we're oh, jealousy, red flag, da-da-da. And I get that on a surface level. However, all emotions, good, bad, whatever it is, are so valid. And I think jealousy is one of them of it's okay to have the emotion. It's just the action.
And also you're going to feel it.
Yes, you're going to feel it. It's just what you're going to do with that feeling.
Yeah, I think it's so prevalent in schools in terms of jealousy because you're in those environments of just always being compared to each other, always judging each other and looking at each other. And I think subtly that whole pitting women against women and pitting girls against girls to mitigate all of these kind of random issues, but by having girls not like each other, it bleeds into the patriarchy of still women aren't going to go far and you're not going to progress, and it's this because you're that whole poppy syndrome, just by pitting people against each other for no reason, that it's always kind of weirdly subtly ingrained in women that internalized misogyny of jealousy.
100%. And I think it's something that because we put so many extra negative connotations around it, people also feel scared or shamed to talk about it. Whereas like I think like this is a brilliant question. Like I think it is so real of, like you said, it's natural to have that comparison. We've talked about it in our like season 1 body image episode. Like it's, you're in an environment that is going to foster that. Okay, that's okay. We have these feelings. What can we do about them? What can, I think if we kind of break it down a little bit, and I'm not a psychologist, but if we're thinking like jealousy comes from you admire something in someone, you see something in them that you want in yourself, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. And if you're best friends with someone, I think it's almost even more natural for that to come up. It's like you're friends with them for a reason, you're best friends with them for a reason, right? So I think like, of course there's going to be things that you admire and you value in them. Maybe it's that they might be really good in social situations and you might feel a bit socially anxious or nervous, right? And you're jealous that they can do that and you feel like you can't, rather than like stewing in that and like feeling resentful for that, because a lot of times jealousy leads to that resentment. I think it's about, I think, bring it to the surface.
Have you had a conversation with a friend about this before? Because I've had a friend bring it up to me, and I remember when my friend like brought this up and I went, whoa, because I see myself as quite just like innately, it feels like insecure and always kind of second guessing and always a bit unsure, that I get so jealous. I guess I get jealous of like my best friend because I look at her and I'm like, you're just so cool. Like she is just so cool and like everything I want to be and aspire to be, and I feel like, how am I even friends with her? Like she's just so sick. And I remember when she came to me and like brought up this thing about like feeling bad about herself because I'm doing this and she was doing that, and I was like, me? Like what do you mean me? Like look at you. And I think it really strengthens the friendship, and I think it's important to have that conversation, and I think it is, if you don't have that conversation, it will turn to resentment. Your
100%.
friendship will suffer if you let that sit, and then it turns into you feeling bad and then making them feel bad for something that they haven't even done.
No. And I think like, yeah, I've like also had like similar experiences of like, I like was talking to my friend about something, and maybe I was actually talking to her about like feeling insecure about myself with friends and things like that, and she was like, it's so funny you said that because like I felt like that with you. And I was like this is like, what? Like this is so funny. But I think I was, as immediately when she told me, like my first instinct was like validate you, of like, so fair, I hear you, I see you in that. And also like, one, thank you for telling me, thank you for having this hard conversation with me. And if there's anything I can do to make you, like as the friend in the situation, make you feel more secure in our friendship, and like what I can do for you, like let me know, because I love you and I care about you and I want to be there for you. And with her, it wasn't like all the time she was like jealous or whatever it was, but it was like certain situations and things like that. So I was like, great, what can I do to like make you feel more secure and just strengthen our friendship there? Even though like the friendship was strong, it was fine, there was nothing wrong, but like we could always be doing more. In saying that, I also don't want to say if you're jealous of someone, that's not their fault. And in terms of, I think like it's not their responsibility to like make you like not have those feelings. However, I think a good friend is going to want to make you feel seen and heard. And like coming back to the original question of, if I'm the friend who's jealous, like what can I do to kind of manage those feelings? I think we've acknowledged it a bit of like, bring it to the surface, acknowledge that you feel that way, that is something that's coming up for you, and that's okay. I don't think it's like, I think sometimes we like think like, oh, like I'm a bad friend, she must think I hate her, like whatever it is. But again, it's natural to have these feelings, bring it to the surface, acknowledge that's how you feel, and then see how you want to approach it. Sometimes it's like, I think I can just work through this myself, and now that I'm aware of this feeling, I can work with it and I can manage it, and I can, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. But in saying that, like, how can we manage it? Like, what are things that we could do if we're not at maybe the stage of having the conversation yet, of like, or we don't feel it needs to get to that? How can we kind of manage it?
I think it's about not letting that feeling dictate your actions.
Yes.
Like you can feel that jealousy, but what's that stemming from? Because I don't know if this is a bit of a like jab, or like if it can feel a bit like attacking, but you're feeling jealous because it's an insecurity of yours.
You feel like you're lacking something.
You are jealous because you might look at your friend and they're really extroverted and really outgoing, and you feel insecure because you're not extroverted and outgoing. You will turn that insecurity in like, oh, who's she trying to impress? Why is she acting like this? Like she's so outgoing, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with that action. But your feeling of insecurity that has led to that feeling of jealousy isn't their fault, isn't their problem. Use that as a way to grow, to learn. Like, hey, in this situation, I feel really jealous that my friend's really bubbly and outgoing. Like, I'm jealous that she gets to speak to all these people and have all these friendships and I don't. What can you do to grow that? How can you be more confident, more outgoing? Maybe it's like saying hi to a new friend. Maybe when she's speaking with her friends, go and like stand with the group. Maybe go up to her and be like, hey, like your friend seems so cool. Like we should do something together. Use it as a way to like build your skills instead of tearing someone else down.
I think 100%, because I think, like you said, it comes from an insecurity. And I think once you kind of work on it and you focus on that insecurity, and maybe, let's say, for example, it's like style. You are jealous, like maybe I'm jealous of your style. Instead of me being like, oh, like Caitlin always like wears cool things and like da da da, I can be like, cool, what can I do for my style? And I think like for like me, like what I would do is I would start to like learn like what I like to wear and things like that, because then when I'm putting more effort into focusing on like the solution, that insecurity starts to die down, and it makes it kind of easier in understanding that you have these feelings and they're not always going to be there, and then that you can like work with it and come out the other side from it. So I think that's like definitely like one part of it. And then I think the other part is, and we've already touched on this a little bit, but like maybe having a conversation with a friend. And that can be really hard.
But I also think it doesn't have to be hard. It can just be a passing comment with your friend, but oh, I'm so jealous that you like always are social. Like I'm so jealous that you can always like wear the best things. Just let it out.
Yeah.
Don't build that in you. Don't like create that resentment and like let it foster. Just be, oh, like I'm so jealous you could do that.
Yes.
And let that plant that seed and let that be a conversation, because most of the time that friend's just gonna be like, what? Like I love that you do this, or I love this, and they're gonna support that and back that anyway.
Yes, and I like see you in that. But then I also think like if I was the friend to hear that, I would feel like stressed a little bit about it. That's also like the recovering people pleaser in me of like wait, no, what can I do, like make you feel okay sort of thing. I think I do agree with your point of like voicing it for sure. I think it also depends on how often it happens. If it's like a one-off comment like here and there, sure, but if you're noticing a pattern of behavior of like, and they're not addressing any more with you, like that's where I think it could maybe lead to potentially leading into those unhealthy friendships. If you're noticing it comes up, I think it can be really hard to like, I'm always like, have the conversation, talk to someone, communicate. For sure, do it. It's important. But also, like, sometimes it can be tricky. You don't know how the other person's going to take it. You're afraid of admitting your own feelings. There's so much vulnerability in that. However, you will never say the wrong thing to the right people. You will never, even though like there are things like they might be mad or they might not receive it the way, at the end of the day, your people, your true people who love you for you, and they understand your heart and your intention and where you come from, and they're going to want to have the conversation with you. They're going to want to like make you feel better in that and work with you in that, right? If your friends aren't treating you that way, or I think sometimes people have different perspectives and that's okay, but if they're not hearing you and your feelings, that's when it's like, is this friendship serving me? Is this something that is positive for me to be in? And I understand when you're in school, it can be really hard. And we've spoken about this in like a previous friendship episode of like, you're still going to have to see them. Like you're still going to be in that environment. So think about like how you want to show up in that of like, again, it doesn't have to be a massive like friendship breakup and like hugely dramatic, but like maybe start to distance a little bit, and there's so much hurt in that for sure. But you want to surround yourself with people who value you for you. And also at the end of the day, high school will end. It'll be over. You will find so many more, you'll meet so many more different people in so many different avenues, and you're never done meeting new people. So you're like just choose
just like, nah,
you're like done.
Found my people.
And if that's you, that's also so fine. But I think your people are gonna care about how you feel and also how they make you feel as well, because also, and I feel like there's just so many tangents on this side, but
I just think it's so important to acknowledge that when it's jealousy, that I like love my best friend so much, why am I jealous of her? That's okay. This doesn't even need to be a whole like maybe this or maybe that. I just want to say like that's okay. You might feel jealous and don't feel bad about that. Don't really like sit with that and be like, oh, like I shouldn't be, and I like it's this. I'm like, it's okay. Like it's just you wanting to be this or striving for that or admiring something, and like that's okay.
100%. I think now when I feel those feelings of jealousy for the people I love, for me now it's always okay, so what does it say about me in terms of what, like, something is not sitting right. What is it? Like, why am I feeling that discomfort? And I'm like, where is this coming from? If it's like I'll see a friend who's like really like extra social and so good at talking to people, and I'll be like, oh, like I just wish I could do that. Like I wish I didn't second guess myself before I like speak to someone sometimes. And then I'm like, okay, that's the discomfort. That's something that I feel like I'm lacking and I want to work on. Whether it's like me being like, okay, I'm going to pull myself in more situations to do that. Great. Like I could do that. Or even if it's like your best friend, opening up the conversation is like, oh, I see that you do. How do you do that? Taking on some of that advice and just spreading that admiration, I guess. It's like you're jealous about it for a reason. Right. And I think when we're talking about this whole topic, from what we've been saying, it's not like physical things. We're talking about maybe the way that they act, or maybe they're really good at a sport or something like that. Whereas there's also acknowledging the jealousy of maybe how somebody looks as well. And that is a different kind of conversation that kind of falls more into body image. It's not like a attribute that you can like, oh, I can gain this. Caitlin and I physically have different colored eyes, and that's not something I can like naturally change because it's not an internal attribute. When we're talking about this question, and I think from what we're gauging from this question, it's really about those like internal kind of qualities that maybe you wish you acted a bit more like your best friend or something like that. So yeah, I just want to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah. I think if it comes to that like physical jealousy, new episode, whole new topic, like that would be so interesting to dive in. But I think the main thing I think about that is just don't use that jealousy to like hurt someone else. Don't use that jealousy to tear them down or make that other person feel bad. Like use it as a way to like reflect.
100%. Yeah.
And I even like, I loved what you were saying before because I feel like it ties so much into the next question about reflecting on your friendships and like what do you value in those friendships and are they serving you? Because the next question is, my best friend and I had a big falling out and no longer speak. I don't want to be friends, but I still miss her. Is that normal?
Short answer, yes. It's normal. Like I think again, it's like those uncomfortable feelings are still feelings, they're still valid. Like you're allowed to have them and it's natural to feel that way.
You can acknowledge someone's bad behavior. You can acknowledge that someone's hurt you. You can acknowledge all of those things, but still also acknowledge that was a beautiful friendship. We had lovely memories. We did this. It was like that. Both of those things exist at the same time. You don't have to be 100%, I hate her, she did this, like it was this thing. And you don't have to be like, I loved her, like it was amazing. Like you can sit with both of those.
Yes, I think 100%. I think you can acknowledge that had beautiful memories, but also ultimately wasn't good for you long term. You just, and it also just in general, it might not even be like she did something wrong or I did something wrong. You just might not be compatible as friends. In the same way of like we talk about relationships and like not everyone is for everyone. Same goes for friendship.
And you might have just grown apart.
100%.
You might have just randomly stopped talking as much, or maybe they moved away, or maybe they're trying to like get to know these new friends, and people will shift and change. And I know that losing a friend hurts. I think a lot of the time it's just like, we'll make a new friend. And I'm like, but like the emotional, like, I don't know if it's just me or like
not just you,
some people, but you, like, that's my girl. You know what I mean? Like you can have those friendships where you're like, this is it. And losing those friendships are gonna hurt. And I want to kind of validate that of like, you're allowed to grieve that loss of a person and you're allowed to be upset about those things. And you can also just acknowledge that they hurt you or you hurt them and there was this, and your friendship was still good. It had its moments, but times have changed. You've grown, you've shifted, and reflect on, you can still live with those happy emotions and live with the goodness and think, what's next and what more.
Yeah, 100%. I think I want to go back to you saying like, those feelings are valid. I even have friendships now that I'm like, there's people I don't speak to, and it's such a tug and pull of I miss them. There's a part of me that still wants to be friends with them, but also there's a part of me that's like, there's a reason we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
And I think both, like you said, both can coexist. Both are so like valid. And I think keep bringing back to yourself of like understanding maybe why that friendship ended and why you aren't in each other's lives anymore. And are you feeling like better for it or maybe worse for it? We're saying if it's a friendship that maybe you do want to revisit, maybe see if you want to open up those conversations, sure. But I think in this context, it's like you had a falling out and you no longer speak and you don't want to speak anymore, but you still have the feelings of connection. And that is human. Like, that is so human. And I think it's exactly what you said about, like, okay, like, have those feelings and, like, what can we do kind of going forward? And I just really think it's about just bringing yourself back to yourself. Be gentle, like, nurture yourself in that. I think life moves really quick and we try to move quick with it, and we don't often, like, stop and, like, give ourselves a little hug, like, metaphorically and physically if you need that. But I think, like, just don't put a time limit on those things. And even if it's, like, 30 years down the track and you still feel that way, so valid. There's this really common quote of, like, you'll forget what they said, you'll forget what they did, but you'll never forget how they made you feel. And that comes with the good and the bad. Right? So acknowledging that that's okay. It's all okay. And, like, you might be behind the screen being like, no, it's not. Like, it's annoying and it's frustrating and I miss her, but I don't want to be friends with her. And also so fair. Like, punch a pillow if you have to. Or, like, find healthy outlets to just feel all the things, and then, but also, like, hold yourself through it as well.
And I don't want to be that person that's like, trust me, like, in hindsight and, like, in the future, like, I hated when people be like, no, like, one day, shut up. But in this situation, from my experience, and something I want to share is that, like, there were situations in my life that every single day I would think about them, and it was all I would think about every day. And I would sit there and think, is there going to be a day where this doesn't rule my life? Is there going to be a day that I never think about this? Like, it just seems like I will always come back to this and replay it. And then one day you just kind of think about it again and you're like, whoa, when is the last time I thought about that? Like, that was like a while ago now. And it slowly over time, it doesn't get any less, but you grow around it. Like, it will still hurt and it will still be that thing, but you've grown and you've changed, and you will look back and be like, you know what? It doesn't rule me anymore. It doesn't dictate this, and I can still continue and still grow even though that's happened. Like, you can still miss that person, you can still think about them, but the emotions become less. It's less of a overwhelming, like, hurt and sadness. It's just a bit like, that was nice.
Yeah. And I think when you were saying that, it really reminded me of, like, I think we talk about grief sometimes, and this feels like grieving someone who is still alive. And to some people that might sound really dramatic, but I think for a lot of us who really, like,
value our friendships,
it just feels like you're grieving somebody who is still around. It's just they're not around in your life. There is this, it's not a quote, but it's a poem on glitter and grief. And I just think grief really feels like mourning someone who's still, like, alive sometimes. And so Caitlin let me borrow her phone for this. And you might have heard her. I've seen it online a couple of times. But I just think it's really beautiful to share. Grief is like glitter. In the beginning, it's everywhere. On your hands, in your hair, scattered across every corner of your life. You try to clean it up to restore some sense of order. And for a while, it seems like you've succeeded. But then one day, you move a sofa or open a forgotten drawer, and there it is again. A tiny sparkle that catches the light and reminds you of what you lost. It doesn't go away completely. It settles, becomes quieter, less overwhelming. You learn to live with it, to carry it gently. And years later, when you find that bit of glitter tucked behind a shelf, you might smile, maybe even laugh. Because it reminds you of love, of connection, of someone who mattered deeply. Eventually, something will catch your eye. A photo, a favorite song, a familiar scent. And instead of the pain, you'll feel warmth. That's the quiet truth about grief. It stays with you, but it changes. It becomes part of your story, a soft echo of love that never really left. I just think that's really beautiful.
I have a Pinterest board called those heartbreaking slideshows of hope. You know when you're, like, scrolling Instagram or like scrolling on TikTok and you just get the sad songs and, like, all the quotes, and I'm like, whoa. And it's that thing of, like, everything's gonna be okay. I'm like,
Yeah, but I think that's what it can feel like sometimes, and something that might cause you so much pain for so long might actually, like, make you smile and laugh later on. And I think it'll still be a journey. I know for me, it's like there are still sometimes it is hard, and I do feel that, but then there are sometimes I think of memories and I think of them really fondly. And even though, like, maybe we don't speak anymore, I'll still hold those memories, and it was a part of my story, it was a part of my journey, and it was a part of theirs, and it was something we shared together for a time. It's never a simple process, it's not easy, but it's a natural human part of life. And again, you might be behind the screen being like, but it's annoying and I don't want to hear this right now. But maybe come back to it in 6 months and you might, like, see if things have changed for you, or if you feel like you have gained different perspectives because you're not so close to the picture.
Yeah. I think that what I love with both those questions is it is just so, like, that's real. Like, I feel you in that. I see you in that. And, like, it will take time. And, again, I hate being that person that's, like, in time. But it is, maybe that feels like a comfort. Maybe that feels like, okay, I'm going to give it some time, reflect, come back. And more often than not, you're going to kind of reflect and be like, wow, I have grown. I have changed. It is this.
Yeah. And I think just, like, for a fun tip, or, like, not fun tip, just, like, interesting tip of, like, if you do maybe separate for a while with, like, a friend or some friends, and maybe it's, like, 6 months or whatever, and you put yourself back in those situations, sometimes that is as clear as day as, like, oh, this is why, like, we needed to just go our separate journeys. That's not always a part of your story. But I think if it does happen, you just, like, notice the differences and see, hopefully, how much, like, healthier you feel for you, or how much more maybe secure in your current friendships, and to, like, nurture that as well. So I think, like, yeah, it's definitely interesting, and friendships are a lifelong journey and thing. I always love talking friendships, because I think, like, both you and I, like, value them so much, and we always yap about our friends doing, like, all of the different things. And I think going to schools and talking to young people, like, we see you talk about your friends, and even we see you interact with your friends, and we see how much joy it brings you. And there's also that, like, flip side of it as well. So, like, I'm really happy to, like, chat through some of that today.
I think when you struggle in the friendships, it makes you value them more when you're like, wow.
Yeah, like, you know when you have, like, hard conversations with friends and all you're getting is, like, the bite back, like, the da-da-da, and then you have conversations or maybe, like, conflict resolution with other friends, and they're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I don't need to defend myself? Like, yeah, like, I think you're so right of, like, bad experiences really help you cherish and value the good experiences and the good friends. 100%. Yeah. But yeah.
As awful as it was.
Yeah, and it sucks, but sometimes, like, I have to go through the bad to get to the good, which also I feel like I would hate hearing somebody say that. I was like, my God, life be all good. But, like, but I think there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just about holding out for it.
I think that the bad helped me feel more connected. Like, I think going through the bad, I feel like more of a person. Like, I've learnt more, I've tried more, I've read more, I've done more. Like, I feel like without it, there's so many parts of it that have built me to who I am, and I've found different areas and different things, and I'm like, it would be so sad if I never got to, like, try that or do that or read that and, like, fill my life with so much. You know what I mean?
No, I do, for sure. Yeah. No, I love that. Aww. I love Friends.
I know, I love my friends.
Well, we're back season 2, and same as last season, we are going to end our episodes with our leaves and our loves. So what we're, like, leaving behind, usually we're, like, planting the seed. We're like, I don't know if that's going to happen right now.
I wonder if I, like, went back to all the episodes and we're like, what am I leaving? And I was like, ooh.
Did I do that? Yeah. And then what we're, like, loving and wanting to take with us. So what are you leaving this week?
I am leaving not addressing things with my friends. I think I'm, again, that, like, people pleaser, perfectionist of, like, it's okay, like, everything's fine. I'm gonna leave that. I'm like, if I want to discuss something, or if I'm like, hey, like, do you also notice that? Or having those kind of tougher conversations, like, I'm leaving not doing it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, like, it only
good luck to me. I'll come check back in.
We'll see. Season 3, ask Caitlin if she's done it. I love that. What am I leaving? Acknowledging it is normal and feeling it is normal to have the negative feelings. Yeah. Of, like, whether it's jealousy, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, that is okay. You are not less of a person. You are not broken because of it. And I think I used to be so, like, harsh on myself, or I would feel, again, that, like, people pleaser, like, I would feel really bad if I felt negatively towards my friends, if I felt jealous, whatever it was. But now I'm like, and I said this earlier, but, like, I use it as a point of reflection. I was like, what is that discomfort? Like, what is it saying? Because it's always saying something, like, it's telling me something, rather than, like, beating myself down for it or pushing it away. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I acknowledge a feeling, I don't want to deal with it right now. But sometimes it's like, okay, what is this saying that I'm maybe feeling like I'm insecure in or lacking in myself? So, yeah, I'm leaving behind the hatred of the negative feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you loving this week?
This week, I am loving making new friendships. I think I really struggled in friendships and the people pleasing and the, like, who am I and what do I want? And even in that loss of people and that, like, friendships of the reflection of what did I do wrong and what could I have done more of, that I'm now feeling like I've just met so many gorgeous people, and I just like the friendships. I'm like, I never thought I would experience that. And it feels like these things that you like get in the movies and the TV shows. And it's like, what? But to really grow in those friendships and be like, wow, like I've met people that I genuinely am just like, love you. I'm like, these people are just so cute and like the best. And I'm loving my friendships.
I love that so much. I love friends. Honestly, I'm loving like fandoms of like making friends through fandoms.
Oh my
I think
God,
like it's
the best.
the best thing ever of like to have a shared interest that you both like so deeply like care about. I'm loving that I can like celebrate that with my friends, because I think like just generally like with a lot of like the fandoms that I'm in, it's very like personal to me, and some of them I'm like I like to keep personal. I was like, that is just my like little spark of joy. But sometimes it's really nice to have somebody match your energy, not because like they're doing it because they're your friend and like they want to like, you know, be there
You're
for
like,
you
wait,
that way.
that sounds really cool.
Yeah, like it's not that, but it's also because they equally enjoy it, and like sending like reels to each other. Have we talked about pebbling before? Of like penguins. I don't know if we have. I'm just going to say it again really quickly. Penguins do this thing where they leave each other pebbles as like, this is me showing you I love you.
Yeah.
So it's called pebbling because they leave each other pebbles. And like the way we do it, like as humans and like in the 21st century, is like when anybody sends you like a TikTok or they send you like an Instagram reel or like whatever it is, like that's their way of being like, oh, like I thought about you, like I love you. And that on like fandom levels is so much fun. And because there's also like those niche interests and like
you know when you get those edits and it's like the TV show or the movie or the something and then like the song and you're like, I did not realize people that knew this artist and knew this song also would know that show. And you watch them and you're like, whoa, that is like my favorite thing when I'm like, that song worked. Wow. Sorry, I just thought of that and I was like, that's the best.
No, I think it's so fun. But even like I was gonna say, like when you have that niche thing and it's out of context, you're like, this would make sense to no one. In context, it's so funny, and I just love that. And like literally talking about like cheesing ear to ear.
Yeah, no, then when no one gets the reference, you have to be like, have you not seen it? And it's like when, and then you just have it, you look stupid.
No, genuinely, it's so funny. But I'm loving like friendships through fandoms and like all of that stuff. And I just in general, like I always love friends. So like even though yes, it can be tricky and hard sometimes, like there's so many like things to love about it.
Well, I love doing this. I cannot believe we got to do another season. So obviously, like, share, comment, rate. We've got YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. In the description of everything, we have a Google form. If you want to submit any questions, scenarios, like they are the best to read. So leave those down below. Maybe we'll answer them on the podcast. If you are unsure and you're like, I don't know, like, should I ask this? Trust me, we do this every single day. We do this day in, day out. We have heard all of the questions. We know it. Like, nothing is going to scare us or shock us or worry us. Like, we can hold that. We want to read it.
100%. So if you are new or if you know you've heard us say it a million times, we just love to send you like good vibes for the rest of your week with a beautiful whoosh of love. Are we ready?
Yeah.
First whoosh of love of season 2. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoosh! Bye!
Here are some resources for further support.
Lifeline 131114. Beyond Blue 1300 224 636. 1-800-RESPECT 1-800-737-732. Suicide Callback Services 1300-659-467. 13-YARN 139276. Q-Life 1-800-184-527. Kids Helpline 1-800-55-1800. 1-800-MY-OPTIONS 1-800-696-784. Ask Izzy www.askizzy.org.au. Shapes and Sounds JUSTSHAPESANDSOUNDS.com.